Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Varsity Cast. Alongside gun-pointing Robert Anderson, I am Aaron McFarlane. We've got a lot of video, football video for you this week, so please stay tuned. We had some people out in the field gathering a lot of good shots, so that we'll cover some of that, and we'll also get to a little cross-country. Robert, I want to start with Salem, the game that you were at this past week, playing Brookville, and an historic day, I guess you could say, or at least a rare day in Salem. What happened?
Absolutely a rare day. Their first regular season loss in 36 games. Their first home loss, I think, since 2003. Home regular season loss since 2003. Now, as Coach Stephen Magenbauer pointed out, and rightly so, every year is a different group. They're not. Each team's not tied to the past. These guys didn't build up this winning streak on their own. But, and as you know, pointed out, none of the players on this team have ever been on a team that lost a regular season game. So it's first time. It was rather shocking, not that they lost, but just the manner that it came. The first shutout in 153 games. They just didn't move the ball at all. They had one carry for 70 yards by Derek Hickman. Other than that, they had about 74 yards total offense. So I think that's the thing that really was just shocking, is just the lack of offense that you saw. Yeah,
well, Magenbauer's done a terrific job there, but I would take exception to what he said there, because the tradition is what makes Salem special. So those guys, even if they weren't actually a part of those teams, they feel like they're a part of that, I think. But we'll see how they bounce back here in the coming weeks. And the other Spartans, the Giles Spartans, another state power perennially, went down to Christiansburg this past week, starting 0-2. How much concern should there be in Parisburg after this slow start?
Well, I think there rightly should be plenty of concern. They go to Narrows this week, and I think the people in Narrows, they know this is one of the better opportunities they've had recently to defeat them. They won about, I think, 4 years ago down there, and other than that, they haven't been many Narrows wins in that series lately. And you got to look ahead at the district race in the Three Rivers. You've got Floyd County and Radford both. You know, they're going to have their work cut out for them in Giles, having to deal with that. I mean, winning the league or finishing second.
And what did Christiansburg do right in that game to get that win?
Well, Christiansburg, other than giving off a kickoff return on the opening kickoff to Cody Jernell, I mean, other than that, they won that 35-7. The final was 35-14. So they continue to run the ball extremely well. They've just devastating ground attack, very good strength up front on both sides of the ball. They're looking like one of the strong early season teams.
Man, another team that's looking really strong, William Fleming. They had a Saturday game this week, handled business very, very easily. Talk about what they've got going for them up there.
William Fleming's looking very sharp. They've got all kinds of weapons. Shaquan Manning, the defensive back receiver, had two phenomenal plays in that game. He picked off a pass, it was a deflected pass. Right at the end of the first half, and ran it down to the 2-yard line to set them up, to put them up 18-0. Then he had a touchdown catch in the third quarter where he deflected the ball to himself into the end zone and made a diving catch. And then they've just got many playmakers on offense, got pretty good team speed, very good team speed. In fact, it really showed up against Franklin County, which really looked slow and lacking in playmakers. I know Franklin County is probably going to be happy to get back to playing it Friday night instead of the middle of the afternoon on Saturday, because that's 2 games in a row, and they've been playing in 85-degree heat. With some of the size they have, I'd say they're looking forward to a little bit cooler weather.
Yeah, me too. I got some size on me, but Cincinnati, it looks like Rob Cincinnati, the coach over there, is really starting to get things going where we thought he might when he was hired a few years back. Now, we also had cameras out at Northside where it was Jim Hickam night. How'd that go?
Well, kind of the way I expected after seeing Northside against Pulaski County. You know, they came in 0-2. Cave Spring was 2-0. However, the difference in level of competition there was pretty drastic in what those teams had faced. And Northside pretty well held sway in that game. You know, as John Montgomery wrote in his story there, Jim Hickam won a lot of games. They're over 220 games in 32 years, and since they've named the field after him, Northside's 1-0, got a perfect streak going there. So we'll see how that continues. They got Patrick Henry coming in there this Friday.
Oh, Randy King gave me a note. He said that Brian Steinsbring, the offensive coordinator at Virginia Tech, was at that game in honor of Hickam. So, contrary to popular belief, he's not in hiding quite yet. Hi, Brian. And we also have cross country, the Knights Invitational this weekend. That's one of the bigger ones we'll see, isn't it?
Right. We've got some schools from Tennessee coming in, some schools from Northern Virginia, Richmond area. I think upwards of 30 high schools competing there. We'll get to see how our local teams fare against some outside competition. We already saw last week at the Blue Demon Invitational at Christiansburg, Blacksburg's girls won their first test against Hidden Valley, kind of the duel that we'll probably be seeing all year. And we also saw Josh Morris out of Jefferson Forest, a transfer from LCA, a private school in Lynchburg. He may wind up being the best male runner in Timesland this year, just coming in from elsewhere. And the girls' race there was won by Allison Homer of Blacksburg, who was injured almost all last year. It's good to see her come back, and we'll kind of see who's at the top of the pecking order this week after Saturday.
Okay, we'll review that and all the action going on Friday next week, and we'll see you then.